We have fire. I think it's burning down pretty good now. Hello, welcome back to another episode from Pale Horse Survival and Tactical. I'm Bill. I'm glad you could join me. Today, I'm going to show you how to make improvised perimeter alarms. Stay tuned. Hello, welcome back. I'm over here on the tailgate of my truck for this project. And I make these perimeter alarms out of the inexpensive window alarms, and they're pretty easy to make and pretty effective. First thing, I pick up a and I got these over at the I think I got these at a 99-cent store. I had a big pile of them there, and I bought quite a few for this purpose, and they make really good perimeter alarms and path guards. 99-cent store. Pick yourself up a piece of wood. They say this is for barbecuing. I guess you soak it in water and break it up and to use it to smoke the meat. Anyways, I don't know if it's cedar or whatever, but I picked up a piece of this, already cut a piece of it out, and you want it big enough to accommodate the alarm, and the alarms come with an adhesive backing, a 3M adhesive backing, so they're pretty easy to install. And you want just enough room over the top and the bottom there. I've already bored holes through. You could use a drill. I just use the tip of my Leatherman C33, my little folding pocket knife, and that's going to accept paracord. And that's what you use to attach it to a tree or a post or a stake, whatever you're going to anchor it off to. Excuse me. And so allow yourself just enough room over the top and the bottom, and you're going to mount it off to the side. You want just enough room here for, this is just a magnet in here. It's a magnetic switch. You want just enough. There's an arrow. There's an arrow on the side of this here. Hopefully you can see that. And then an arrow on the switch. So you just line those two up, leave it out about 1/4 of an inch away, and we're going to mount that with a screw so it pivots. And the top hole, screw will go in the bottom, top hole, except I use fishing line as a tripwire. So this one is already cut. Get this out of the way. So the next thing we're going to do with this, we're going to mount this guy to the wood. So we'll peel the backing off here. It's like double stick emblem tape. It's pretty stout stuff. Get in there so I don't litter the woods out here, and just kind of eyeball it. Right about there should do it. Go ahead and press it on. And it is on there good. The double stick tape really works well. Now this one also has double stick tape, the switch, but of course it needs to pivot, so we're going to pull the backing off and then get rid of the double stick tape here, and that just pulls right off. Kind of scrape it a little bit with your fingernail, get any of the remaining adhesive off here. You don't want it sticking to the wood, otherwise it will defeat its purpose here. Just rubbing the oil from your fingertips on here helps to get rid of the adhesive qualities. So this is what we have here. A little dirty back there from the adhesive, but I don't feel it sticking. Oh, I guess I'm not in frame here, am I? There we go. Sorry about that. A little bright out here. I'm having a hard time seeing the screen. So grab a suitable wood screw. And I just have a screw that has a little shoulder on it, so the switch will kind of ride on the shoulder. So we're going to thread this into the bottom hole. These are really super easy to put together. Amazingly easy. Just remember, you want to line, trying to get in frame here, you want to line these two arrows up. You'll see two arrows on the front. One on here, one on the switch. Just make sure the arrows are lined up, not above or below one another. Trying to get in frame here. There we go. So we're going to send this out about 1/4 of an inch away from the body, and then just start threading it in to the wood. The bottom hole will be the pivot. And the wood split. I should have probably drilled a pilot hole. We have a split here. Putting a screw in. Doggone it. That's a pretty good split too. So I'm probably going to have to redo this. Yeah, it split all the way across the back. That really sucks. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and recut a piece of wood, and I will be back. Stay tuned. Alright, I'm back, guys. I cut another piece of wood. I managed to get this guy off with still enough adhesive to mount it. It's on here pretty good. So I'm boring a hole, a pilot hole, for that screw. You can use a drill. Should be getting through this little thin piece. There's the tip of the knife coming through now. So I'm going to reverse it back. I don't want to go too far with this because I want enough wood there for the screw to bite into. Let's see what kind of damage we can do here. Hopefully it will not split now. Make sure I'm in frame here. And the pilot hole saved the day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back that screw out just a bit so the switch isn't dragging. There it goes. So we got a little gap in there. And you can actuate this back and forth a number of times to loosen it up. I can already feel it loosening. So it takes a little less pressure, pulling pressure. That's not bad now. That's pretty good. Okay. I did this before I started the filming, boring the holes for the paracord to attach this, and so since I screwed up the other one, I might as well just keep rolling footage here and show you guys how to do that. Just take a fine tipped knife. This is my little Leatherman C33 folder. I love this thing. It gets crazy sharp. I bought this one used off eBay. I think I got it for less than $10. Somebody tried cutting something that wasn't meant to be cut with a knife, and the blade was pretty goobered up. So I reprofiled it and spent about an hour on it. Reprofiled the blade, and it is shaving sharp. Literally, it is crazy sharp and really retains an edge well. And I took a file to the spine. These come rounded, and if I have a knife, it has to have a 90-degree edge on the spine on both sides to either process tender or to strike a ferro rod. So I took a file to it and squared the spine up, and it really worked nice. I want this big enough to accept the paracord. Paracord will be used to lash it. Make sure we're big enough here. Yeah, that'll work. These are really super easy to use, and they are very loud. So after we're done with this, we'll set it up, give it a test run. I'm going to show you a feature that these have that I really like. I put my finger on the back side. If you do that, just be very careful. You don't. I do that so I know when the tip's coming through. If you decide to do that, just be careful not to drill into your fingertip. Almost there, guys, and we're going to paint this. The one you saw in the beginning is one of several that are in my kit. I can alarm my entire perimeter, plus any paths coming in. It's a great early warning system. There we go. That'll work. So what I'm using for the paint is just Rusto camo, and I've got brown and green here. Blow any dust away. Finish this video, the sun's starting to go down. Forestry Service just lifted the campfire restrictions, so I may try to get up here on an overnighter within the next few weekends. Alright, that's a workout. I'm going to hit it with a little flat green first. I do this so when they're anchored off to something, they kind of blend in to the environment. Throw a little dusting on there. And then to break it up, we'll use a little that light spot there. There we go. And then to break this up, we'll throw a little brown on here strategically. That should be good enough. Let's see what we've got here. Yeah, that's not too bad. I might throw a little green up on the upper edge here. Carry it away with the brown. There we go. Let this air dry for a bit so we can handle it. So this is what we have. That glossiness will disappear as it dries. So I'm going to go ahead and let this dry for about 5 minutes or so until it's not tacky. and then we'll go ahead and install the paracord. Stay tuned, I will be back. Okay, I'm back. It's been drying for about 5 minutes, set up nicely. So now we're going to hook up the paracord on there. I use green paracord. You can use camo. Just don't use anything bright colors, obviously. And you want it big enough to where it'll go around. If all you have as an anchor is a fairly large tree, you want it big enough to go around. So that's probably about good enough right there. So we're going to get 2 of these. I'm going to shrink it down just a little bit here. There's one. And we'll use this to measure another piece so they're even. Get over there out of the way. Melt the ends of the paracord so it doesn't unravel on us here. If you do this, just be careful not to touch these melted ends until they're completely dry or cool rather. And ask me how I know. I made that mistake and it stuck to me. A little bit of wind out here. And this lighter's almost dead. Alright, so you want to fold your paracord. Get the ends lined up just like that. Take your loop, run your loop through the hole from the back side. Get it up here, just simply tie a knot. Run your knot up to the edge here. Just like that. Pull it back, holds it in place, locks it in place. Now you have a strap here to anchor it off to whatever you're going to anchor it to. You run it through again. Bottom. Boom. Now we got a very easy way to anchor this guy off. Whatever we want to anchor it to. Throw a couple batteries in. Now this has a key pad here. The default on it is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you hit enter or on and off at the bottom button. So that means it's armed with 3 beeps. Now this top hole here is where we'll hook the tripwire, the fishing line. And when it's triggered rather, the thing I like about this, it gives you a little warning before it sounds the alarm. So you hear those couple of beeps before it sounds off. Kind of gives you a heads up. That's armed. Apologize about the wind out here. It's really starting to kick up. Let's hook them. The fishing line I'm using is a spool of trilene 6-pound test, and this is the low visibility green. And this stuff would be almost impossible to see, yeah, especially at night. You're not going to see it at all. And that's I think I paid $5 something for a 330 yard spool of this. So that's a lot of fishing line. So let's go ahead and let's anchor this off, hook some fishing line up to it, and play around with it a couple of times. Stay tuned. I'll be back. All right, let's go ahead and get this guy set up here. Go ahead and hook some fishing line over here. Then we'll run this over to, you can either run it straight across as a tripwire, or you can also use, where the heck I put them, eye screws. So if you want to cut a 90-degree bend, in other words, run it from here straight across to a tree, another tree, and then cut it 90 degrees back to cover two sides of a perimeter. You just put an eye screw in there and run your fishing line through the eye screw, and then run it over and then anchor it off to a tree on the other side. Let's go ahead and get this thing set up. Stay tuned. Okay, welcome back. We have, I just armed it. Oh, there we are. That was the confirmation beep that it's armed, and we have the wire. I have it just running right over here to this tree for demonstration purposes. And like I said, if I wanted to cut it to the left or to the right, I could take my knife and shave a little bark off this thing, off the tree, and then run an eye screw in, and then run the line through that and straight across over to another anchor point, and that would cover 1/2 of my perimeter. And then from that anchor point I could run another one this way to another eye screw, and back this way to a second alarm, and that would pretty much box in my entire perimeter. And others can be set up in a similar manner. So, but they do work really well. It's a very, very cheap way to fabricate an alarm. But you come along here and hit the wire, walk into the wire, and there would that confirmation beep. Yeah, and that will definitely wake you up. I like that little confirmation beep. So if you have the unit near you in your campsite or next to your primitive shelter or tent or whatever you have, however you have it set up, when you hear that little confirmation beep go off, you know something's breached the perimeter. So it gives you a little heads up before it sounds off, and that sounds loud. It would scare the hell out of whatever tripped it, whether it's animal or human. But go ahead and I'll pull this again and give you guys one more demo. So that rocks out. Oh, I didn't even turn it back on. Sorry guys. Went brain dead there for a second. There we go, 3 beeps. It's armed. And there it is, there's the heads up. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I did making it today. Please like, subscribe, and share. I hope all of you are having an outstanding day or night, depending on where you're located, and I will see all of you very soon on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.